In this workout, we're going to dissolve along the spine. So let's settle in like we normally do, just finding the feet, the connection to the ground, and relaxing the joints of the legs so you feel like you settle into a nice rooted, comfortable posture. For this one specifically, we're not going to worry about dissolving everything else at the same height as the spine. We're just going to focus on the spine and work it top to bottom, then release down and sink through the legs. So it'll be a little bit different than some of the other workouts that we've done so far. And as you get the weight centered in the feet and relax the hips, just lightly lengthen up through the spine as if somebody were running a hand up your back from the base all the way through the neck and then connecting up to the crown of the head. And let's settle at the crown of the head and gather our awareness, gather energy before we start coming down. Now from the crown of the head, feel the eyes and the brain, and just let them release and relax. Our first major point along the spine is going to be the occiput. There'll be several points we want to check in with, and we want to go through and dissolve continuously through the spine. But as you're settling in, the first place that you want to dissolve is where the skull sits on the spine. So prepping for that now, just relaxing the eyes as much as possible, the whole head, face, jaw, and brain. Try to follow the same progression that we've worked on in all these exercises so far. So feel into the area, get your mind stable, and then hold it there lightly as things shift, change, and open. So you might feel physical shifting, but I want you to prioritize feeling into the area and letting the mind stay stable and steady as things release, so that any physical movement is just a result. You're not going for stretching something, moving tissue, turning, bending, stretching, anything like that. And now, from the occiput, the next big one we want to get is the 7th cervical vertebrae, the big one at the base of the neck. But what I want you to do is feel the whole segment between the occiput and the base of the neck. So feel all the vertebrae of the neck. And this is going to set us up for how we want to go about dissolving the spine. The bones of the spine are wrapped by ligaments, muscles, and the spinal cord is covered with layers of fluids and nerve sheaths and all kinds of tissue that you can penetrate through with the mind over time, but you've got to do it layer by layer. So feel the whole column of vertebrae that make up the neck. And from the outside of this column, from the periphery, over the next couple minutes, see if you can let the mind soak into this one section. You may have better access if you feel from the back, or from the sides, or from the front. See what is easiest for you. And now from the base of the neck, the 7th cervical vertebra, the next chunk we want to feel is right between the shoulder blades. So try to locate that first, and then feel the stretch of 5 or 6, 4 or 5, 4 to 6 vertebrae between the base of the neck and the center of the shoulder blades. And here you might again feel a lot of muscle tissue. If you keep the armpits open and feel out to the fingers, it's going to help you access this area. But let your mind start to soak in and penetrate inward. and feel the endpoints especially. So the base of the neck, and the center of the shoulder blades. And then extending your awareness a little bit more down to the bottom of the shoulder blades. And trying to feel as if you were crawling along piece by piece through the spine, all of the vertebrae from the center of the shoulder blades down to the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, if you can make that distinction. And at each depth, you might feel like you feel more muscles, or you feel the bones of the spine. Ideally, we want to start to penetrate in to the spinal cord and that whole column, but that can take a lot of time. So let's keep coming down now, step by step, adding a new chunk all the way to the bottom of the rib cage. And remember, like anything else, when you're trying to feel into an area of the body, it's easy to get tense or let the mind start to contract a little bit. So once you feel like you've made contact, even if you've had to use a little tension or contraction to make contact with something, spend a minute or so relaxing it, letting the mind soften and open up. Now coming down through the lower spine, trying to feel down to Ming Men, which is a point along the spine at roughly the same altitude as the lower Dantian. So it tends to be around the third lumbar vertebra, if that's useful, or if you just imagine that line that runs from just below the navel straight back to a point on your spine, that's where you want to feel for. And now feeling down through the rest of the lumbar spine. Stabilizing your awareness around these bigger vertebrae at the base of the spine. You're feeling all of the guts, all of the tissue, everything around that spine as well. And then when you get in there, working your way inward. And then down through the sacrum until you can feel down to the tailbone at the tip of the sacrum, bottom of the spine. Now let's just take a minute to feel the whole spine from the occiput, base of the skull, down through the sacrum and the tailbone. Try to feel it as one thing, one unit, whole spine. And when you're trying to dissolve, feeling the space around the spine as the ground, background and foreground here, for the specific stuff you're trying to feel. In this case, the whole spine as a unit. That can be really helpful for the sense of release and letting go that you want to create in the spine. And over time, you want to feel like you can get direct access not only of the bones of the spine, but the spinal cord itself and the energy of the spine. And now, to whatever degree you've connected to the spine, let things release and dissolve. Make your transition. Start your sinking now. Feeling into the hips, the pelvis, the lower dantian. Just letting everything condense, connect, and start to sink. Coming down through the thighs, down through the knees, just letting everything drop nice and easy. And then from the knees, drop into the lower legs, and down through the shins, the calves, just letting the weight fall, right? You did the hard work with the dissolving. Now it's just a feeling of letting everything complete and release its way down. And as you relax your ankles and you get the weight to start to fall into the feet, again, we want kind of a spreading out through the feet, a softening between the bones of the feet. And a nice easy contact between the soles of the feet and the floor. So just letting everything from the crown of the head, down through your spine, down through the legs and the feet, release, let go, and sink. And then just feel the spine one more time. If you've activated these deeper layers or started to wake things up, you might have a nice light, open, connected feel through the whole spine. That's great. That's what you want to hold on to. And that's what you'll return to if you do this workout a couple times and really start to get the mind into the spine. Good job.